For all the cool kids now.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm just practicing my signals.
Randy's not perfect, dudes.
Resnick, you probably gonna be the first one kicked out of your day.
That's hot.
Before Toretti?
I thought that's how I
Yeah,
thought
fucking
Toretti's
Toretti's
first.
here. That's
It's true.
It's gonna be fun.
Holy shit.
Eagles, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, baby.
Hey,
Did we just beat the scam train?
Alex?
Did we just beat the scam
When are
train,
you starting
guys?
that thing?
Listen,
I don't know what you're talking about, Toretti.
Okay. There might be a lot of spike strips.
Maybe we changed the rules.
Oh, okay, well.
We
Is there
fucking
anyone
did
not
it, Chad. We fucking did it, dudes.
If not here, say so.
Yep, Randy's dead.
I don't know. Can we just get like a hand raise if you're a cadet, real quick? Just keep them up, please.
Okay.
Resnick, thank you for the 500 biddies, baby.
Yeah, Resnick, get over here.
Okay. I think we're good. We got a couple of
Oh yeah.
loose cannon cadets that had to come back to academy to relearn stuff. Toretti.
Mm-hmm. Well, technically, it's Toretti's first academy either way, but
True.
And then Coop as well.
Oh,
Okay,
Lomi,
yeah,
thank
we
you for
should
the
be
8
good then.
months.
Wait, what's
I
up?
may have to
You
leave.
leaving?
I was just doing a head
soon.
count of who
What?
we have.
Who's that?
Resnick.
Resnick?
Yeah,
Okay.
my dad came over, so I have to take care of him because of the health issues. So I may have to leave soon.
Come
fine.
take a walk with me, Resnick, real quick. Alex, if you want to do some open comments real quick.
Not behind the PD and shoot.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything.
He's gulagging him.
Hello, welcome to academy. You've been
Yeah, I'm just
chosen and the few privileged to participate in the Los Santos Police Department, where we carry out justice swiftly and effectively. This is the first and only day of academy. We're going to be teaching you guys several modules. We're going to try to make it as quick as possible and as streamlined as possible so that you guys can get out there and patrol with your FTOs hopefully by the end of the day with information that really we can only give to you guys efficiently through the court server. If you guys have questions during academy, try to save it towards the end of the presenter's presentation. We don't want to have people just raising their hands in the middle of somebody talking and going over their module. You know, if you have a question after they're done, you're more than welcome to ask it when they ask, if anyone has questions. Obviously, if you see us with the instructor shirt, it means that we're instructors. We're there to help you guys. While we're doing the live portions of academy,
What's up, baby girl?
we'll be working with you to make sure that you're on the same page as everybody else. So feel free to ask us questions when you are in fact doing live training.
Radic,
But
thank
during
you
the
for the
talking
gifted sub,
portions, like I
dude.
said, just try to save any questions you might have towards the end. My name is Bob Smith in the city. We got some other guys here that just quickly introduce themselves just so you guys know the faces, the names. A few of them you'll probably be working with a lot during your shifts. In fact, they're going to probably be FTOing you, so we can just quickly go in a clockwise manner here, starting with Snow, if you want to say some stuff and go down the line.
Yeah, a little
hey.
better.
I'm Trooper Jackie Stowe with the State Police. Welcome everybody. Just remember, no question is a stupid question. Don't be afraid to ask them if you have them. It's always useful. Listen to your FTOs and stuff. And good luck.
Hi. I'm Ziggy. If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask me, or most of the other people here help you out either way. You're probably going to get a lot of information thrown at you. It's going to happen relatively quickly. If you need something to be repeated or slowed down, just don't be afraid to say so. Okay. All right.
I am Sergeant Vladimir Raven from the Los Santos Police Department. I'm practically Snow, but Australian.
Wow.
You guys didn't know me. I'm Kareem Leon, Senior Officer, LSPD. Got kind of what Snow said and what Ziggy said as well. A lot of information, stuff like that. Again, I'd rather you guys ask me a question 7, 8, 9 times if you have to, rather than thinking that you understand what's going on and you actually have no idea. So don't be afraid to ask questions, please. Very important.
Hi, I'm Senior Deputy Dupont. I work with the PCSO. I speak French, so bear with me. If you don't understand what I'm saying sometimes, just tell me and I'll make an effort. I sound always upset, but I'm actually really fun to talk to, so if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me.
Oh, Sergeant Svensson, LSPD. I'm really sick, so I'll just let Dogger go.
Yeah, Rocker Colombo, I'm the sheriff, part of the PD High Command on No Pixel. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Pretty much it.
Hi, it's me, Dante Wolf, ex-CID. Hope you guys had a good time and good luck.
I thought my AJ Hunter would be here with me.
Yeah. Assistant Chief of Police Metzger. Yep, no most Steve, so.
Senior Deputy Colt Shepard, Blaine County Sheriff's Office. I'm here to help you. People also call me the assistant to the assistant's assistant sheriff. I'm pretty high up there, so feel free to ask any questions.
Nobody calls me that at all.
I call him Ripley.
Not a single since when?
Ripley.
They call him Scuff Ripley.
Who said Scuff Ripley? Who said that?
That's
Scuff Ripley.
All right, Scuff Ripley, calm down. It's okay. Hi, I'm C. Officer Williams, the LSPD. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hi, how's it going? I'm Matthew Espinos, Blaine County Sheriff's Office. Again, as everybody said, we're here to help. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out.
Hello, I'm Senior Officer Emily Reinhardt, the Los Angeles Police Department. Ask me questions.
Nope.
Wow.
Next. Wow, this good dude. Thank you for the
Hey.
1 year anniversary,
I'm
baby.
Sergeant
Here's
Angel,
the 12 more. I
Los
love you,
Santos
dude.
Police
Thank you, dude.
Department. My job is to bust your balls over every little thing and make you feel bad about your job.
True.
So when I
Nice.
talk to you, just use this as a learning experience. So, your turn, Malding.
It's really tough. Officer Lance Moulton, head of Moulton's Motorcycles. For those of you who are on the NA shift, you'll be seeing me quite a bit. Not
In
an
the
FBO, but
In the hospital.
yeah.
Hashtag Max
but
Mode is better.
if you have any questions, I'm
True.
not an FBO, but feel free to ask. You're more than welcome to get my perspective on things. And for those in LSPD who do wish to join Moulton's Motorcycles, once you become an officer, hit me up. Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
ASAP, thank you for the 1 year, dude. Chad, how many subs did we get on that scam
Know the
train?
names, know the faces. All that. Start with John Minio.
How you doing? My name's John Minio.
What's your favorite color, John?
Whoever
Oh,
talks,
favorite
you can-
color? My favorite color is red, sir.
Okay, can you guys like raise your hands before?
Yeah, right here. My name is John Minio.
I see you.
Can we get Coop?
Hey, yeah, we're good.
My name's Coop. I have a question. Am I allowed to ask a question here?
What the fuck?
No.
Just said wait until the end. Fuck.
Is this in character or out of character, sir?
Oh my god.
Both.
Find out
So
in
is my
roleplay.
response, is that in character or out of character?
No.
Find
Hey,
out in
when we
roleplay,
do practical stuff, guys, when we do practical stuff, it's in character. When we do this kind of the teaching portion, it's out.
All right, but my name's Coop Holiday. Everyone knows me. I have a lot of accomplishments in this city. I think it would take us.
Oh my god.
All right, moving on.
Hello, my name is Scott Ridley.
Name is Mackenzie Hayes. Your favorite color, Scott?
It's gonna be emerald green.
Hey, how's it going? Senior Cadet Billy Williams, Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Williams.
Hi, Ekaterina, Lexievna.
Cody Sharp.
Hello, I am Bonnie Johnson, or you may know me as Scuff Fiona.
Wow, you're already giving yourself that name?
Wow.
That's rough.
They gave me that name already, okay?
Okay, well.
Don't degrade yourself like that.
I think
Yeah.
the new ones are me.
We'll do it
Coop,
for you.
The
You're better.
blonde.
I still love you, Bonnie.
Scuff Fiona.
I farmed the
Fiona.
DOJ.
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up, Coop.
Shut up, Coop.
Yo, Timo, thank you so much for the 12 months, baby.
I'm Johnny Divine.
Sorry.
Sunshine.
69 brand.
Hey.
Hey.
I look like Raven and Snow's love child.
With the anything's possible. It's 2020, you know.
Yeah, I'll take thank you for that 1 year, dude. ASAP, thank you for the year also, man.
My name is Olaf Gunnarsson.
Dude, thank you for the 11
I like
months.
DOC.
Oh, you Peter Griffin instead.
Then why the fuck are you here?
Alright, Toretti's your final. You're up.
Oh my god. Do we have to do Toretti though?
If he says something stupid, can we shoot him?
No.
No.
Alright.
No.
Go ahead,
Why is he
Toretti.
standing?
Ready?
All right, that's ready. He doesn't matter.
I'm
Officer Toretti.
You heard it.
All right.
Okay, great.
Raven.
That's all for that. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try to get through this as fast and efficient as possible. So just pay attention. I know some of you might be opening your eyes, but again, just try to pay attention to what's being said in front of you. I'm gonna let Metzger take over from here. He's the one that put this academy together. Spent a lot of time getting these instructors to be on the same page, just so we could have a very effective academy this time around. So, Metzger, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, so everybody's already in the right uniform. Everybody signed in on duty. That's a cadet, correctly? Right call sign.
Definitely.
Okay. Can I have an FTO check call signs real quick? Everybody have weapons, equipment, etc. Food, water.
Yeah, make sure your weapons aren't broken.
Can you guys put your hands up, please? Thank you very much. You don't have a gun on your belt, sir, with the blonde hair.
Okay. Oh.
Follow me. I'll help you out inside. Let's go.
Well, whoever has their hands up, you guys are all
Come
ready
on.
as far as the uniforms. Make sure your guns
Come on
aren't
in.
broken,
Go.
because then you won't be able to take them
Chop,
out.
chop.
Everybody has weapons, equipment, etc. Don't go anywhere.
What's your name,
Just
sir?
we're gonna do a tour real quick of MRPD, so when we go down there, you can get your weapons.
I'll go get water quick.
Yeah, run right there while she fixes his fucking uniform.
I'm Falcon 5. Do you think that's good?
Who did this to my bag?
Jonathan, you need to change your call sign,
in
please.
the second section. Just go ahead and
All
go
right,
through it.
so
I'll
for
tell you to
this
stop.
first portion, Raven's gonna be leading.
Right.
He's gonna be doing some overview
Why
stuff.
am I so heavy?
And like
Oh,
Alex-
yeah,
change your
that
call
might
sign.
be it. Yeah.
I got
yeah. My
Fuck you,
A lot of
Bobby.
people talking.
All right, thank you.
Not this one.
Hayes,
Keep
you need to
going.
change your call sign.
Okay.
This one.
I don't know how to do that.
Right there.
Okay, well, Raven.
Slash call sign.
Yep.
Hayes needs to sign in.
Whenever you're gonna
Oh.
actually
Okay.
put your hand on
Okay,
the
we'll cover that in a second.
not fine.
Raven's doing this anyway.
Chad,
So
I got a tank bill, Chad. Remember, I was.
once he comes
Okay.
back, it's your show on that. So
I didn't know it was under this.
Really?
Yeah.
I was the loot box last
just
time.
be mindful.
Chad.
Court's going on too, so don't shoot weapons, please, or be assholes.
Go ahead. Go.
Yes, sir.
More for you guys than cadets. All right, when Ridley's back, Raven, it's on you.
Chad, I
Sorry.
got Kilo armor on right now.
That's okay.
I got
Bobby, you
level.
need to jump.
No, actually, Kilo armor is level 5.
Okay. Perfect. All right, just before we begin, does everyone have the Google slideshow regarding our overview of what we will be going through today?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Nope.
No.
Perfect. That is now in the Toko Voice Port channel in TeamSpeak. Please open that up. That'll give you an overview on what we're going through, the basics of it in each slide, as well as who will be running those sections.
Oh, how was it? Cool.
Don't show the link on stream.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Hey, so just briefly, the expectation is when we're doing these non-practical portions, you can follow along if you're a visual person, all right? Because I know it's hard to hear, and it's hard to follow along with somebody when they're just spewing information out of their mouth at you. So this will give you kind of a TLDR of what's being briefed. So hopefully it is helpful for you all.
Okay, once everyone has that and we're all familiar with
No. I
Central
was just saying it before anyone did.
What?
Oh,
What?
apologies. 1 second. Apologies.
Okay.
It's view only. It's fine.
Fine. Okay. So once everyone has that, again, slide 2 there will give you the overview of what we'll be going through, the estimated time of it, etc. We move on to slide 3. The first order of the day is we're going to be doing a brief tour of MRPD, as I'm sure there are quite a few of you here who may not know the ins and outs of our No Pixel Police Department. From there, we'll be going on to some small discussions and so forth. Let's start with the tour. It shouldn't take long. It's going to be very brief. For everyone just wants to line in. FTOs, not everyone needs to follow. There are a million of you, please. Cadets, want to follow me inside, please. Okay, to our left, we have the front desk. That is where you sign on. All of you know that because you're all signed on. Captain's office for meeting. Through the locker rooms, that's where you'll be able to change your clothing. There is a clothing store in you. You all know that. You're all in uniform. Let's go through. No one lock those doors. To the right is the briefing room. You may be called there multiple times for debriefs, etc. So get familiar where that is. Probably be in there in and out after, you know, big situations that we get. We're going down to processing. First thing, front and center, is going to be the hallway towards the armory and evidence locker. We're going to wrap back around that. We're going to take a right here. On our direct right, we will have the drunk tank. This is essentially just a mass holding cell. It's not really used for much. Use it for your roleplay opportunities where you can. Through this gate, we enter the main cell block. Through this front door here is towards the motor pool, which is where you'll bring suspects down from. Cell box continue on. We have to our left the lower office, where you can go deliberate with officers regarding charges, etc. Great door to our left is a quick hallway back to the armory. We continue down towards the end to another small lobby area.
Bonnie, jump.
Okay, through these gates to our right here, there is a door. This contains 2 interrogation rooms, as well as the mugshot room where you'll need to take people's photos. This is a one locked door, then it just goes all the way down. We don't need to go down to the end. It's fine. Back this way. Straight forward, we have the lineup room, which is rarely used. You know, again, it comes down to roleplay opportunities. It's not used much. To our left is where we enter the armory hallway. Door to our right contains another interrogation room and the viewing area for the lineup. Our left is the evidence lockers. You have 3 evidence lockers in here. 1 is a trash locker. Next door is the armory. As you all should know, you all should already have police equipment. This is where you'll purchase your firearms, armor, anything you need that contains police equipment. Alright, continuing on. Back up this way.
Fuck did he go?
Got everyone? Okay. To our right, we have 2 empty rooms, and to the left is the second entrance to the lower office. This concludes our tour of Mission Row PD. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Make our way back up to the front, and we will continue on with our next slot of discussion.
Raven, make sure if they need, if their weapons are messed up, they come grab them real quick.
Yeah, iPhone.
We've got at least 1 down here grabbing weapons.
Listen, Mantis. I'm streaming. Do you want me to
I'm
talk
gonna take
about
the
it while I'm
overwhelming
streaming?
silence as a big yes. Good to hear. I don't want to hear anyone not having weapons, etc. later on. I will be mildly disappointed.
Oh, nice, dude. Real mature.
All good there.
I assume we just need pistols, right?
Okay.
I just got everything
Just
shot.
like my gun
Oh
belt.
god. Yeah, you're gonna get.
Yeah, I know it is. I live in
It's
that
fine.
game. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Role play there. It's gonna be a.
When he was
big
down
deal.
here in Austin, we came up with
Oh,
a
remind me to send you something about that, by the
doing
way.
Gordo shit because
That
we were
over
watching
here.
my brother's train wreck at the time, and he was watching Gordo.
He will
Yeah.
Put that down here. Nobody knows I have
This is
it.
a good kid. Oh my god, I need another bandage. Hold on. That was a good one.
Now, I'm sorry.
You been in Conan yet?
Put a 2 bandage punch.
You son of a bitch.
Downloading because
You're a goddamn liar.
Alright then, Bruce.
You're a liar.
Look at Raven.
No, I'm serious. I have to remember I pause it when I get on these servers. So.
I want to play Fortnite with Marcus Brownlee.
You know.
Okay.
I prefer Paul Crawler.
We got everyone back now. I think we got Tribble. Okay, you know what? Never mind. You could probably be over there, Tribble. That's fine. Okay, now that we have everyone back, we can be moving into our next topic of discussion, and that is the police slots on the live server. The way this works is there are 8 total slots. Additional 2 slots are for cadets such as yourselves who have to ride with an FTO. Solo cadets, who are defined by their call sign being in the 600s, take up the 8 main slots. To be able to play a civilian character, there must be a minimum of 5 police officers on duty. This is non-negotiable. We are doing essentially a service for the server, and failure to do so, failure to just go on a crim when there's not 5 cops is being outright selfish and disrespectful to all the other people who want to be police and are willing to put that time in. All of you should consider yourselves very lucky, so respect that, do not abuse it, okay? Does anyone have any quick questions about how those slots work? Yeah, like Nike said there, we have a specific prio for cops to get in easier.
Alright, I get the last one coming up now. Cooper, are you on radio?
Hey, Farm.
Are you able to give a weapons license?
That stroke, I'm feeling a little better, dude.
Sir, I'm an officer of the law. I am no longer a judge.
Just double checking. Didn't know if they kicked you out yet.
I could whitelist myself and actually, I don't think so.
Nikes, if I whitelist myself, will it sync to the server right away?
Can we
It
just
won't.
give him?
Can we just give him the guns?
I did. Ace has everything she needs.
There is also court going on right now.
It's fine. We'll worry about it after.
That's fine. Just give him the stuff for now, and then see if the on the
Okay.
live server we can get him the licenses.
I just want to repeat, I'm an officer of the law, no longer a judge.
We got you.
Best, thank you for the gifted sub to Sarah. Yo,
Okay,
Logic, thank you for the 10 months,
moving
dude.
on. Once we are finished here today on Academy, you will be non-solo ride-alongs. If you equate yourselves with the PD Discord, which I hope you should all have access to, is there anyone here who does not have access? Perfect. You will find yourself awaiting for FTO channel under the police section. Sorry. In that section, you'll see the format posted by everyone else in there. You will put yourself in there that you are currently waiting for an FTO to be able to go on duty. An FTO will react to that with a green check mark and most likely message you and let you know, hey, I'm picking you up. You are all encouraged to contact the FTOs. Seriously. Contact an FTO. If you see one on the server, shoot them a TeamSpeak or Discord message. I can tell you as a fact, we are not always paying attention to that channel. If you're in-game as a cadet waiting for an FTO, you may also use 3-on-1 to see if there are any FTOs around. At no point should you sign on duty unless you are with an FTO, okay? Once you get with an FTO and sign on duty or go 1041, you're required to also post in the central dispatch channel. Cadets, you may only ride with FTO officers, and you have a maximum of a 4-hour shift to make room for the others coming through, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Solo
Sir.
cadets, like I
Yes,
said,
sir.
work a little different. Solo cadets will go off the actual officers' numbers. They don't have those 2 reserved slots, which means that they don't require an FTO to be present or anything like that. In a normal queue, we also have essentially WFS, which stands for waiting for slot. This means it's a queue for officers to get on duty. If there are 8 officers on duty, an officer may, for example, my call sign being 486, I'd put in central dispatch 486 WFS, which means I am waiting for the next available slot. All that's pretty standard. If anyone has any questions about that, again, reach out. Otherwise, you can pretty much read it all in there in the central dispatch channel or the waiting for FTO channels. If you're unsure on those formats or you're not sure yourself, you can see it's very simply listed. Moving on, you are all already in your uniforms, which is absolutely great. You guys, of course, have the locker room inside Mission Row, which is essentially just a simple clothing store in there to be able to get changed whenever you sign on duty. The uniforms are set by each department's high commands respectively and must be obeyed. They're not putting a uniform there to piss you guys off or, you know, not make you guys feel happy. It's there so we're in uniform and easily identifiable and professional. The requirements for the uniform is you must wear a full duty belt like you all are, so you can't just have a hip badge. You must patrol in marked units, again, in a uniform. The only time where it is acceptable to not be in a uniform but do police duties is for court cases such as bench trials or what happened on this server just earlier, a court case where you may wear business attire with a hip or neck badge. So that means suits, etc. Not homeless looking ass shit, alright?
That's right, Coop.
Our equipment standards.
Oh god, that would
is
never
very
happen with me.
important.
I'm sorry. Why did you say that?
Can we cut it out? I don't give
I'm
a
sorry,
shit what
he's-
you two are talking about.
being-
I know, but
he's being rude to me for no reason, sir.
I
I'm
understand
sorry.
that. Just ignore it for the time being. He'll be spoken with afterwards.
Oh, cat
Sorry.
fight.
Thank.
As per us being a police department and a state, essentially, institution, you may only use police-issued equipment. So that means only what you may acquire from that armory down there. You may not use any sort of personal firearms, illegal firearms, anything of the such. Only what is provided to you by the state in that locker room. Of course, as you know, all officers will have to have a valid weapons license. If you don't have that, that will be sorted. Don't stress about it right now. As officers, you are authorized to carry the 5.56 AR while on duty. SWAT officers, however, may carry a 7.62 on duty. If you are not SWAT certified, the only time you may use the 7.62 is during a
Prison
jailbreak,
break.
city vault robbery, the city or county power plant, not the power stations. There's a difference. There are some small power stations towards Toledo. They are not authorized for that. It's the two main power plants, or as directed by a member of High Command. Once the incident is complete, you are expected fully to return that 7.62 into the police trash evidence locker. If you are caught carrying that 7.62 afterwards and you are not SWAT certified, you will face repercussions. The vehicle standards for the police are quite simple. As cadets, you are authorized to drive our standard Crown Victorias or CVPIs. The LSPD is spawned via code SV1 and BCSOs is spawned via SV2. Again, these are to stay completely stock standard. You may alter the extras, however, you must keep the light bar on it. You may not change the rims of it. You may not change the plates of it. The wheels. Let's go with. You may not change the color or the wheels of it. Okay. Again, the only thing you may change is tint or the extras. A bonus of the LSPD is that we have access to our motor unit, which is a motorbike that is only authorized once you graduate as a cadet and become a full officer. The perks of the BCSO is they get a piece of shit truck, which may only be operated once you graduate as a cadet and become a deputy.
That's
The
right.
Tahoe may be operated by a K9 certified officer or by a sergeant of each respective department. The SWAT Suburban and helicopters are restricted to those respective certifications. The only other time a SWAT Suburban may be used, again, is via High Command's discretion. I will take some small questions about anything I have just talked about.
Question.
Yes.
Extra number 10, 11, and 12 on the Crown Vic. Are they the...
Yes, I believe they are the dog cages. Sorry, I don't have the exact extras, but they should be taken off. As they are currently bugged and bulletproof.
Right, so just a small tip to anyone. When you spawn a Crown Vic...
Can you shout?
Do you want me to show?
Shout.
Shout, sorry.
Speak up.
Yes. Sorry, man. Alright, so basically when you spawn a Crown Vic, you want to type extra 2 false, then extra 10 false, extra 11 false, extra 12 false. That's what you want to do when you spawn a Crown Vic.
And you do extra all false?
No, because
No.
it'll take your light bar off.
Okay.
So we'll cover that when we get to that
yes.
section, but...
That's what I was
sorry.
about to say.
No, you're good.
No, that's fine. You brought up a good point there.
Is that something we can
Sure.
also get pinned in Discord for people just so they don't forget? Maybe.
Yeah, I would appreciate
Yeah, Mets.
that.
Okay, I'll take a note.
Okay, I appreciate all your time for that section. It was originally meant to be by Sergeant Stenson, but as you all know, he is
we're
very
done with the
ill.
questions?
You can go if you want to.
Never mind, sir. I'll just continue.
No, go ahead. Cool.
His question
Go
was
ahead.
if there were questions allowed.
What's your question, Coop?
Never mind, sir. I apologize.
No, go ahead. Nope.
I was just gonna ask, is the K9 like a certification, and is that
That is
something we can
correct.
expire to? You know, I really
Absolutely.
I want to have a goal, sir, and I think K9 is a goal for mine. I just want to let you know.
Absolutely. K9 is a certification you can aspire to. Absolutely.
Thank you for your time, sir.
But not as a cadet.
Yeah, exactly. Follow-up question. No,
Okay.
No
Okay.
certifications
Okay.
while you're a cadet.
That is correct. Certifications open up once you become an officer. Okay. Any more questions? Last chance.
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, Toretti.
How do you become an officer?
By not
You
being a
pass
piece
your
of shit.
final
Moving
evaluation.
on to Shepard.
Thank you. Moving on to Deputy Shepard.
Oh my god, my chest, dude. Yo, Blue Devil, thank you for the 10 months. Wilson for the 12
All right, welcome
months.
everybody
Thank you
again
for
to the
10.
Police Academy.
Orion,
I'm
thank you for
Senior
the
Deputy
3.
Coach Shepard. I have a brief presentation for you now on communication, important tips. Communication is absolutely important, absolutely vital to good police work. Good communication is supposed to be quick, efficient, convey important, essential information so that you, other officers, and emergency personnel can respond appropriately. Things such as who is involved, where is the situation, what is going on. Other factors like, is there a weapon present, is there a hostage, do you need backup, do you need paramedics on the scene. Good communication is not overly long, filled with unnecessary information, ums or uhs or mumbling. I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. Communication is deceptively difficult. It's probably the last thing that you will master. And if you take time off, if you play other characters, if you go on vacation, it will be the first thing that you mess up on when you get back, I promise you. You will get rusty fast. The difference between good, clean, well-executed situations and a complete shit show is often the communication that goes on. The first thing you hear after a well-executed scenario is going to be, wow, good communication by everyone. And when things go sideways, the first thing you're going to hear, or that you'll notice when you look back on that situation is, wow, there was no communication, or there was a miscommunication. I didn't understand how many suspects there were. I didn't know how urgent that situation was. I didn't know they had a machine gun. Vital information missing leads to failed scenarios. So when you start your shift, you're going to be required to tune into PD EMS Radio Channel 1, okay? Make sure you have a good working radio. If you are too soft, too loud, too crackly, please take some time to adjust your settings before you get on duty. Besides Radio Channel 1, there are other channels you can switch to. For example, Channel 2 is EMS Radio. That is used by EMS and doctors, so you communicate with them if you need to. Channel 3 is for tow. Please be sure to use that channel before impounding a vehicle. Channel 5 is used to communicate with the DOC. Always please let them know before you send along a prisoner. Channels 6 through 10 are open and may be used as an alternate radio channel in the event that there are multiple priority calls going on at the same time, or if an officer is taken hostage and a secure channel may have been compromised. As with many things, there is no substitute for good hands-on practice, and believe me, you'll get plenty of it in your cadet phase. But for now, let's take a quick look at some brief radio etiquette. Whenever you key up to transmit over radio, state your call sign so that everyone knows who's talking and who you're addressing. Whether it's an individual unit, you can address them by their call sign, or it's central dispatch. So you want to start off your shift, let's take an example, by saying that you're starting your tour of duty. The 10 code for that is 1041. So let's say as an example, I would key up and say, Dispatch 321, show me 1041. Okay? So you might also ask if there are any active situations when you're starting your shift, so that way you're not walking into a hostage situation. But let's break down that transmission. The first thing you do is you address central dispatch. That's so that everybody knows who you're addressing. If you're addressing somebody by their call sign, you might say their call sign right off the bat. 321 is my call sign, and show me 1041 is the 10 code for beginning your shift. At the end of your shift, you're also going to announce to everyone that you're going off duty to say that you're 1042. That way, everybody knows your head didn't just pop, you didn't just disconnect, you're actually in your duty, so everybody's aware of what's going on. So that's just a brief example, but that was straight to the point, very simple, no extra fluff, just get the basics across. Okay, the goal here is to speak clearly and concisely, give all the information that you need to respond appropriately, and don't give a ton of information that isn't helpful. Okay, unnecessary information can add confusion to a situation and prevent other units who need to transmit important radio traffic. So learn to keep your communications concise while giving all the important information. So we went over an example just there of how to announce that you're on duty. Let's go over a few other common examples of radio communication. Let's say you need to contact another officer to ask them a question. You can do that, just like before, by announcing who you are and who you need to communicate with by using call signs. So for example,
202 from 321 direct.
Give them a second to respond. If they heard you, they should respond with go ahead or send traffic.
Go for 202.
What? I didn't just do that because my brother, okay? I wanted to confuse the cadets even more.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right, so once they respond and acknowledge your hail, you can go ahead and send your message. I want to make something
the
clear at this
sabotage
point
not
that you
today,
should
no.
not be tying up the radio solely to hold conversations, okay? If you have an important question, go ahead. But if you need to hold a discussion, you need to ask the responding unit to meet with you or call you directly. For example, if you want to meet with someone at Mission Row, you can first hail them over the radio. Then once they respond with the go-ahead, you can ask, can you 1025 with me at Mission Row? Another option is to call someone directly on their phone if you need to hold a conversation but you can't meet. The 10 code for the phone call is 1021. Just be aware that you should still try to keep phone calls brief because while you're off radio, you'll be unable to hear priority traffic while you're on the phone. So if anybody else needs urgent backup, you will not hear it. Other common radio calls is when you need backup. So especially when dealing with suspects, try to use 10 codes when you're transmitting over the radio to shorten radio traffic and maintain levels of operational security. You will all have plenty of time to go over the 10 codes. That's not the point of this presentation. But generally speaking, if you need an additional unit for backup, the 10 code for that is 1077. Okay? That means I need an additional unit to respond to back me up. If you're dealing with a suspect who has maybe an outstanding warrant, it's unknown if they're armed, you might engage them in conversation to keep them calm and request backup by saying,
Dispatch from 321 1077, Pink Cage Motel.
now, I could say that next to somebody, they may not know what I'm requesting, but if I said, hey, send me an extra unit, that might put them on edge. If you're in distress and you need immediate backup, meaning you need all available units to back you up urgently, the call sign for that is 1078. Please save that for situations that are a severe threat. Officers that are available will redirect and come to your aid immediately. Whether you need an additional unit or urgent backup, the procedure is same as before. Key up, announce yourself, call the 10 code, location, and reason. Let's say that you're on a traffic stop. This is another common scenario. First thing you need to do is make other officers aware of where you are and what your status is. To do this, you announce that you're on a traffic stop, where you are, and describe the vehicle and, if possible, any known occupants. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you're going to have plenty of practice with that.
Dispatch 321 traffic, Elgin Avenue, San Andreas, with a black and color assault and arrest, occupied one time.
Now, let's say on doing the traffic stop, you realize the driver has an active warrant. They are a violent criminal. If they hear you speaking plainly, hey, I need backup, that might escalate the situation. They might either take off or decide to gun you down. So the wiser thing to do might be to return to your cruiser if possible and request 1077, on Alta Street or on Elgin Avenue. Now let's just say they don't give you time to even get out. Okay, they get out of the car with an assault rifle, they're just shooting at you. So you get cover and say,
Dispatch 321 1078, shots fired, Elgin Avenue.
okay, that would let all other officers know they urgently need to back you up and you're taking shots on Elgin Avenue. So again, try to describe the basics, where you are, as long as you can safely get it out. How many suspects there are, what they're wearing, if they're armed. All that information will help the responding officers know what situation they're rushing into. Poor communication, miscommunication could not only lead to failure to apprehend a suspect, but possibly the death of an officer or a civilian. Always keep Central Dispatch apprised of your status. For example, if you need to take a break and you will be unavailable, let dispatch know that you're out of service so that other units aren't hoping that you'll be available if a call comes in. To do this, let dispatch know that you're 10-6, which is busy, for example, if you're processing or conducting an interview. Or 10-7 just means you're out of service. Use that if you're AFK. If possible, let them know how long you'll be AFK for. 5 mics, 10 mics. When you're back, once your call is done, once you're ready to go back on duty, you say, dispatch 321, show me 10-8. 10-8 is back in service. Whenever you're responding to a dispatch call, announce yourself and that you're responding to it so that everyone knows if anyone's taking a call. For example,
Dispatch 321, show me 1076, Haywick Avenue, for 1010 in progress.
That way, if something does go sideways, other officers will know that you were responding to that situation. If suddenly a 1013 comes from there, officer down, they'll know that the last thing that happened was you were responding to a fight in progress. What happens if you see a fight breaking out in front of you and you don't communicate over the radio? Suddenly you get brass knuckles upside the head. 1013 comes in, nobody knows what happened. So if someone is hurt, if you're hurt, you need to let EMS know that they're needed. So communication is very important. Always try to keep the net clear for priority traffic unless you are actively involved in a situation and are trying to convey important information. And never speak over another unit's transmission. If there is low priority traffic and you need an urgent transmission, begin your transmission with break, break, break to indicate that you need the air for a priority message. Again, try to be concise. It's very important that you don't interrupt other transmissions just to inform everybody that you're going 41 or that you're helping a stranded motorist, something like that. I want to also point out that when a situation is under control, you should report over the radio that it is code 4. So just before you would key up.
Dispatch 321, 1010 Haywick Avenue's code 4. Show me back into service.
Or if medical personnel, they need to know that the situation is code 4 before they approach. So if you're just busy talking, chit-chatting, they might be staged nearby, have no idea that it's all clear.
PDD EMS for code 4 on Elgin Avenue. You're clear to roll in.
So these are all situations of communications that are concise, clear. You need to make sure you get those out so that everyone can function efficiently. So once you secure a scene, let everybody know, let dispatch know. If paramedics are needed, make sure they know that it's all clear to come in. The 10 code for requesting paramedics is 1052. But don't worry about memorizing 10 codes on day one. You'll get them with repeated exposure. The important thing is that you practice good radio etiquette. All right, so you're all going to be assigned call signs for use on the radio communications. I see you've already set those up. But again, you will learn those over time. In the meantime, try to use your call signs whenever possible when hailing other officers on the radio. Do not call them by their name. You may notice each department has its own format. We've already talked about that a little bit, but state police call signs start with a 2. BCSO starts with a 3. LSPD starts with a 4. Cadets that are cleared to ride solo begin with a 5. Cadets that are requiring an FTO to ride with them begin with a 6. Certain vehicles will also modify your call sign while you are in them. For example, Air 1 is the generic handle for a flight-certified officer who's in a helicopter. They may also use their own designations, such as Falcon Heavy or Iron Eagle. The boat might be call sign Marine 1, Ocean 1, Shark 1, etc. Any officer who's K9 certified will designate a K on the end of his or her call sign, just as the motorcycle unit will affix an M to the end of their call sign. Truck unit will assign a T to the end of their call sign so that you know who has a motor unit or truck out. Any undercover officers will use U to indicate that they're currently undercover. 500s are the ones that need an FTO?
Yes.
Sorry, my notes were out of date. Correct you are. Very good.
That's because you're reading from a cigarette. Sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, communication is super important, and you will get lots of practice. Whenever you're responding to a situation, make sure the first thing you do is communicate. Let everybody know you're on your way. Then navigate safely to the scene. Once you're on scene, communicate again. Let them know that you're there. Secure the scene. Then communicate again once the situation is under control, and let them know that you're going back on duty. Communication should be frequent and concise. Again, try not to talk over each other or clog up the air with unnecessary information. It's very deceptively difficult. You're all going to get lots of practice, and you're all going to hate yourself once you hear the sound of your voice on the radio. But with repeated practice, you'll get it in no time. All right, any questions?
No, sir.
I have a question for you, Shepard.
Oh.
Where can they find the 10 codes if they don't know where to find them?
It's on the roster. There should be a tab for 10 codes.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, cheat sheet.
It's called cheat sheet.
Yep.
I said it for.
Okay.
So that's where you can find all the 10 codes if you need them. All right. Please reference them.
A small tip in the beginning, if you have a second monitor, I would seriously have it up on your left side. It will be a ton of help. Yes. Not even kidding.
Honestly, it is help, but honestly, a lot of the dispatch calls we get nowadays, they even have the 10 code right in there, so you'll get used to it.
And again, with all PD documents, please don't show the damn links on stream. For the love of God, don't be Andrew.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everybody.
321 to 556 direct.
No, you said it wrong.
You said it wrong.
It's supposed to be.
Hey, you, it's me.
Hey, you, it's me.
Hey, you're 321.
I am.
321 to 556.
No, you're saying it wrong.
No,
You're
gonna
take
say
out the
321
two.
from
Shit.
556. That's what you're gonna say.
God, you're so fucking dumb.
321
From.
556 direct.
Go for 321.
U25 with me at Shiro PD for some sandwiches.
Perfect.
Good job, Cube.
See, if I didn't, let it be learned that if I didn't do that, no one would have learned here today because I clearly knew what I was doing wrong.
Yeah, thank God for Coop.
Thank God, Coop.
I ain't the second shit.
Thank God for Coop.
Okay, so we're going to move on to probably one of the more contentious topics. We're going to be talking use of force now. All right, we're going to be talking it in terms of
course, Sal.
use of
No,
force
of course,
principles
dude.
and then the use of force matrix.
I'll get to the subject a little bit,
So the use of force, as it's defined, it's broadly the amount of force required by LEOs to compel compliance by an unwilling subject. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with the principles of use of force, and then we'll jump into, like I said, the use of force matrix and continuum, okay? All right, so some principles that we use here in the police department, or are moving towards using in the police department, include the following. LEOs will only use the amount of force necessary to establish control in a situation, make an arrest, or protect themselves or others from harm. All right, so if Coop's standing here and he's just talking shit to me, I'm not going to pull out a freaking taser and just tase him because I feel like it. There's no amount of... That's not the proper amount of force there, okay? That's what that's getting after. All right. Second principle. LEOs shall use advisements, warnings, and verbal persuasion when possible before resorting to force. 3. Force shall be de-escalated immediately as resistance diminishes, okay? So if I'm trying to arrest somebody, let's just say Coop again, and I pull a firearm on him because he's got a weapon in hand, and then he immediately surrenders, once I have him in cuffs, I should be de-escalating, or I should be de-escalating from the get-go, okay? As soon as he puts the weapon away or starts surrendering, okay? Don't pull your gun out on me, Coop.
Sorry.
4. All right, so when feasible, based on the circumstances, LEOs will use disengagement, area containment, surveillance, waiting out a subject, or requesting additional units in order to reduce the need for force and increase LEO and civilian safety. We'll cover that a little more when we get into traffic stops and having a cover unit. LEOs shall allow individuals time to submit to arrest before force is used whenever possible. And finally, LEOs shall use firearms with high degree of restraint. Your use of a firearm, therefore, should never be considered routine and is permissible only in defense of life or to prevent serious bodily injury to LEOs or others, and then only after all alternative means have been exhausted. And then finally, when feasible, LEOs will identify themselves as a law enforcement officer and issue a warning before discharging their firearm. Keyword there is when possible. Obviously, if you're getting shot at, you're not going to have time to advise that you're a cop. All right. Any questions on any of that before we move on to the use of force continuum?
Just get it out of you, Sharp.
All right. All right. A couple more principles. Okay. Don't discharge your firearm from a moving vehicle unless it's absolutely in order to protect your life. All right. Also, don't discharge your firearm at a moving vehicle in the city if you can at all help it, okay? Just remember that there are other people around. And then finally, when determining the amount of force that you need to use, just consider the following. What is the severity of the crime at hand? Does the subject pose an immediate threat? Is the subject resisting arrest or attempting to flee? What is their mental state? Are less than lethal options available? And then what are the objective facts of the incident? And some of this stuff will come with experience. What I determine as threatening is probably a little different than what Raven or Snow or somebody else determines as threatening, okay? Our experiences are going to drive what we kind of see, okay? But as long as you're using the force matrix, which we're about to go into, you'll be okay. Okay, so the use of force continuum has 5 levels, okay? And you should always attempt to respond with one level higher than the resistance you're encountering. Okay? So we have a side to this matrix, and there's a resistance side to this matrix as well, okay? So they kind of go hand in hand. As a subject's resistance increases, we increase our resistance. As theirs decreases, we decrease. But we always want to maintain one step above them on the use of force matrix. Okay? And because it is a matrix, we may be jumping from level 1 to level 5. Okay? All right, so starting off with level 1, Level 1 is going to be officer presence, okay? There's no physical force being applied here, but it's mainly our presence in an area. So subjects are obedient, compliant, and non-aggressive. The mere presence of an LEO works to deter crime or diffuse a situation. All right, our attitudes at this time are professional and non-threatening. Okay, so we shouldn't be threatening use of force against somebody. We should be on scene, talking to them, engaging them. Okay, moving on to level 2. Level 2 is verbalization, okay? So still no physical force is being applied. We're just using our actual words and verbal judo to control a situation, okay? So subjects at this time are obedient, compliant, and non-aggressive. We're going to issue calm, non-threatening commands, such as, let me see your identification and registration. Okay, LEOs may increase their volume and shorten their commands in an attempt to gain compliance or decrease resistance. Okay, so short commands might include stop, don't move, etc. Okay? LEOs may also attach repercussions to their commands for failing to obey the command, okay? So typically this is the later end before we're going to transition to level 3. But typically it's going to sound something like stop, or I'm going to place you under arrest, stop, I'm going to place you in handcuffs, etc. Okay? Alright, so moving on to level 3. It's going to be empty hand control. Alright? So this is when we start to use bodily force to gain control of a situation. Okay, subjects at this time are resistant and non-compliant. Alright, and this is further broken down into two categories. We have soft techniques and hard techniques. Alright, so soft techniques are going to include us grabbing, holding, putting people in joint locks, etc. to restrain an individual. Hard techniques are going to be include punching, kicking, and actually fighting physically with a subject, okay? Obviously, there's some mechanical restraints, so putting somebody into a chokehold isn't actually going to happen, okay? But we do have the ability to tackle subjects.
I'll get
we do
all,
have the
I'll get to
ability
all the
to use
subs
our
in a little
fists
bit,
against
Chad.
subjects
I
as
apologize.
necessary.
Wisdom.
What's up?
Excuse me.
You got something?
I'll get to all the
No,
subs in a
sorry.
little bit, Chad. Give me a couple
Okay.
of minutes.
Training.
All right, moving on to level 4. All right, so level 4 is less lethal methods, okay? So LBOs use less lethal technologies to gain control of a situation, okay? So subjects at this time are physically aggressive, and there is immediate likelihood of injury to self or others. Okay, so several categories within this. We have blunt impact devices, all right? So this would be things like your baton. So we would use that to immobilize a combative person, all right? Just attempt to be wary of where you're striking them. Sometimes it's hard. We have chemical means, so using chemical spray or projectiles to restrain them. Not something that we're going to be doing here. And then we have conducted energy devices.
What the hell?
All right, so that's going to be your taser. All right, and we may use those to immobilize an individual. All right. And moving on to level 5, this one's pretty straightforward. This is going to be lethal force, okay? This is the use of a lethal weapon to gain control of a situation. And we may use deadly weapons against subjects in self-defense or in the defense of others. All right. Key on that, we don't want to be using a higher class of weapon against a class 1. We want to go after class 1s with class 1 weapons. We want to go after class 2s with class 2 weapons, okay? So when we talk about level 5, officers need to visually identify, not just audibly identify, a class 2 firearm in order to use a class 2 firearm. All right, so the only class 2s you guys have on you are the shotgun and the 5.56 AR, okay? So in order to use those, you need to visually see, or have another officer visually see a class 2. Do we have any questions on use of force so far? This is probably one of the more complex topics.
Could you go over a little bit of the +1 for me? Or is that...
You mean escalating over somebody?
Yes, sir. Could you just give like some scenarios, if you don't mind?
Okay. So, for instance, say I'm responding to a 10-10, which is a fight in progress, okay? If I get on scene and I just see a couple individuals, somebody's on the ground, right? And there's somebody kind of nearby, no weapons in hand, etc. There's obviously just a fight here, right? So I know there's some use of force going on here. All right, so they're kind of at a level 2, the soft techniques, right? I might step into level 3, right? Or even maybe level 4. So they're at a level 2, fighting, right, with physical, with their hands, I might pull out my baton, which is a level 3, when I get onto scene. Okay. Likewise, it would be acceptable there to probably go to a taser if they're being physically aggressive towards you and attempting to punch you. All right. Now, if somebody has a taser out and I'm on that scene, I'm not going to pull my taser out. I'm going to pull my pistol out. Does that make sense? They're at a level 4. You want to respond with a level 5.
Yep.
Is that clear, Coop? Or...
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just writing down here, sir.
Likewise, a deadly weapon, such as a knife, the first officer on scene should be responding with a level 5, okay? After that, once you get backup, somebody can respond with a taser, all right, in an attempt to subdue them. But just, that's kind of a situational based thing there. Any other questions? Okay. So I think this was already covered a little bit, but we're going to talk use of long guns real quick. And that's going to reference the 5.56 and the 7.62 ARs, okay? All right, so long guns and shotguns should be utilized in circumstances such as the observance of Class 2 or 3 firearms. Haven't seen a 3 ever. 1090s at the City Bank, the jewelry store, or Polito Bank. And the jewelry might even be outdated now. If you respond to the jewelry and there's only Class 1s present, please respond with a Class 1. Disturbances at the Palmer-Taylor Power Station or the Vinewood Substation, and any incident at Bolingbrook Penitentiary, to include jailbreaks. All right? So as Raven already briefed, if you've got a 5.56 and, for instance, a jailbreak happens, you're immediately authorized to come here, drop your 5.56, and grab a 7.62. Okay?
I'm full.
Once you're done, you'll bring it back here and drop it. Okay? We're not covering it in this brief today or at Durham Academy, but in the SOPs there is a disciplinary piece. Please familiarize yourself with that. Abusing or responding with excessive force can result in a suspension, and as a cadet, you're going to be more under the microscope than everybody else. So don't do something to get yourself basically removed from PD, okay? Any questions on use of force thus far, or the long guns?
Sir,
what's up, Coop?
Is there a level above the Class 2?
What do you mean?
Is there a Class 3?
Technically, yes.
We bring out 50 cal Humvees.
Yeah, so we'll call the National Guard to respond to that, Coop.
I'm sure there's definitely not. That's not a thing, but I was just trying to clarify, sir. So, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Go, dude.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk one case law real quick as it applies to use of force. It's going to be Tennessee versus Garner, okay? So basically, I'm just going to read the verdict on this and then explain what it actually means for you all, okay? So under the 4th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, a police officer may use deadly force to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect only if the officer has good faith belief that the suspect person poses a significant threat or death, or correction, a significant threat of death or serious physical injury to an officer or others, okay? When a nonviolent felon is ordered to stop and submit to police, ignoring that order does not give rise to a reasonable good faith belief that the use of deadly force is necessary unless it has been threatened. Okay, so basically, this is called the fleeing felon rule. All right, we're authorized to use deadly force if we have belief that they pose a significant threat to citizens, ourselves, etc., while they are fleeing. Okay, this needs to be used very carefully, though, because I'll tell you right now, if they're not wielding a weapon in their hand actively, etc., you're probably gonna get in a shit world of hurt for shooting them in the back, etc., as they're running away. All right. We've had a couple instances of this, and it generally goes poorly. So if any of the officers back here who actually experienced any of this want to chime in, it would be appreciated.
You can just call me out by name. You know, you don't have to like.
I'm being professional and asking if you want to speak.
Angel could say something. The other one is dead.
The other one is dead, correct?
The other one's dead. I'm the one that can say something.
Yeah, Angel, if you want to touch on this real quick, since you have experienced this.
What, on shooting people in the back?
Just the fleeing felon rule. I don't think it really applies a lot for us, but...
Right, well, sure, we can touch on the fleeing felon rule. Yeah, you know, fleeing felon is one of those things that it may not strictly apply to people that are handcuffed and running away from you. You could probably try and articulate something about, they being a danger to society or whatever. But as far as the laws in this land go, if they're not posing an imminent threat and they're not like in immediate danger to hurting someone around you or yourself, then
demons
they
anytime,
don't
baby.
necessarily qualify for fleeing felon. So essentially.